Welcome back to FPL Spad, your best place for FPL content for the 23-24 season. My name is Spad. Today, I'm going to share with you my transfer watch list for game week 6. But before we do that, I'm going to review my team so far from game week 1 to 5 to see what moves I made and how much they've improved my team or not improved my team and what I need to do in the future coming game weeks. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. Now let's get on with this video. So let's review this team for game week 5. Haaland, he's been in everyone's team from the start. Going to stay in my team for a little bit longer, hopefully. Next one is Alvarez. I bought him in game week 3 for Darwin Núñez. It cost me that game week because Alvarez didn't get many points that game week. And Núñez got 2 goals and a comeback victory against Newcastle, which I regretted in the end. But the following 2 game weeks, Alvarez got returns, and which is the main reason why I moved up in rank so far. Next up, Rashford. He's been in my team since game week 1. He's been up and down, not the best returns at the moment, but with the game weeks coming up, he probably has to stay in my team still at the moment. Or maybe we'll have to think about it a bit more. Luis Diaz, been in my team since game week 1 as well. Got 2 returns of the first 2 game weeks, didn't get a return on the 3rd and the 4th, got substituted early in the game week 3 because Trent got red carded. So he couldn't get any points that game week. Last game week 5, he only came on a half time because he came back late from international break. He did make an impact on the game. Unfortunately, he couldn't get a goal or an assist in that game. But he still is most likely will be staying in my team. The next one, Sterling. I bought him in game week 4 after he got his mega haul the week before that. And since then, he hasn't produced anything. He has just got 2 points each in both games. At the moment, I probably should be holding him, as Chelsea still have 3 easy fixtures coming up. Villa is not the easiest fixture, but still a good fixture at home, where he could still get some returns. And if I didn't bring in Sterling, I might have bought in Jackson instead, like most people have, and got no returns at all from him. So, in a way, we still got Sterling, the most experienced player in the Chelsea team, and Jackson is 1 yellow card away from another suspension. So in my opinion, it was still the better choice to go for Sterling than over Jackson, because he's just not producing and he's not guaranteed to get goals. He might get chances, but the Chelsea number 9 curse still exists. Next up, Saka, been in my team since game week 1. Not going to leave Arsenal's main man. Probably most likely be on pens with Martinelli out as well now. Trossard might be coming in for him, but not 100% sure if his injury is long term or short, or how even short term it is. So for him, we have to still wait on it. Next up, we have Mbeumo. He was supposed to be in my game week team number 1 from day on. I took him out because thinking that he was injured. The following game week 2, I brought him back in, because he had to be brought back in. He was the main player for Brentford. I'm a bit worried at the moment because Rico Henry got injured in the last game and he's out for the whole season. And he was a very creative spark in that Brentford team. That might make his numbers drop a bit. So that might be something to look out for. They do have some good fixtures lined up at the moment, so he will stay in my team. Gusto has been in my team probably from the very start of the Premier League FPL. Not many people had him from the very start. I was one of them, and I called it, that James is not going to be the main man at Chelsea, even though he's given the captain armband. Reason being, he's injury prone way too much. He was supposed to be back after this international break. Now they're saying the next international break. And even when he comes back, he can easily get injured again. So in my opinion, Gusto for me was one of my best moves that I made from game week 1. Colwell, I bought him in game week 3 when I took a -4 hit because Shaw was injured. Shaw was probably one of my biggest mistakes from game week 1 when I should have had Espinian instead, and then took Espinian out for Colwell in game week 3, where Colwell will get points and Espinian didn't. Espinian got dropped in the last game, but that's mainly because he probably came back late from international GE, and now Brighton got Europa games as well. So there'll be quite a lot of rotation for Brighton, in my opinion. Next up is Trippier. I bought him in this game week for game week 5 for Trent because Trent was injured. And he pulled out the 8 points like I expected him to. I'm just a bit annoyed that I didn't bring in Botman instead because he made 1 point extra, and that would have given me an extra cash to maybe bring Salah in for one of my other midfielders, as maybe I might want to change up, as Liverpool do have great fixture list lined up. Now, if you look at my overall rank from game week 1, after the first game week, I was 3.4 million in rank. Not the best start at all for FPL terms, but there's always time to improve. The week after that, I made only one change. I bought Mbeumo in for Bernardo Silva. That increased my rank just by a little bit to 3.3 million. Not the best increase that game week as well, but I stuck to my guns. And the week after, I bought in Colwell for Shaw and Julian Alvarez for Darwin Núñez. In a way, Julian Alvarez was a great transfer for the future FPL fixtures that I had, but not for that game week in general. I did -4 for Shaw and didn't even play Colwell in that game week in the end as well. So I didn't have to do that -4 in my opinion, but I did. But I used Colwell for last game week where he got me 6 points where I benched Henry because I didn't think Henry will get the points against Newcastle. And I expected Colwell to get a clean sheet maybe, and he did. With Garsto with him next to him. That was good. That increased my rank to 2.9 million. I was fairly happy with that increase. It was a bigger increase from the last increase. Then my next transfer was Sterling for Martinelli. I did that at the back of the 19-point haul that Sterling had. I kind of regret it. I kind of don't. I could have brought in other players in that around the same price range who scored points in the following game weeks. But I'm sticking with my gun. Hopefully, he produces some points in the next 3 game weeks. Otherwise, it'll be a big L for me if he does not produce in the next 2-3 game weeks, because he hasn't produced in the last 2. That still in that game week, I was able to jump to just under a 1 million rank, even though my transfer wasn't the best transfer. Martinelli did make 4 points that game week. Sterling only made 2, so it wasn't that much of a loss in transfer terms. But because of my transfers I did early on, the games before, allowed me to increase my rank to just under 1 million. And then this game week, I brought in Trippier for Trent. And that increased my rank to all the way to 370k, which was a big increase. I'm very happy with that. And hopefully it continues with the coming game week that we have, where most of my team have good fixtures lined up. And hopefully break into the 50k mark sooner rather than later. And then we can set our targets from then on. But at the moment, my target is trying to get into the top 50k of the world overall rank. And I'm on course to do that. But we have to look at the future fixtures that's coming up. This current team that I have, Man City have got a good couple of games coming up where they can get a lot of points. Liverpool got a couple of hard games, in my opinion, semi-hard games coming up. And then a lot of easy fixtures after that. So maybe I might hold off getting Salah just yet and get him in a bit later, maybe game week 8, 9 or 10. I haven't made my mind up yet about him. With Rashford, it could be I'll keep him for the next couple of games that they have because they've got easy fixture list and they can't keep performing as bad as they have. United, especially in the last game, they weren't the best. Even though there was a goal disallowed because the ball was just over the line. Rashford could have made some returns in the last game, but it was rightly ruled no goal. So that stays how it is. Sterling, we just have to wait and see if he performs or not performs and how Chelsea are improving. Because right now, they don't look good at all. Like, probably one of my most regretting transfers that I did at the moment. But I have to stick with my gun. Can't be doing a hell of a lot of minuses because you just drop rank big time by doing minuses. And if you do the minuses and it backfires, you're going to drop even further down your rank. Saka, keeping. He ain't going nowhere. And Boo Boo, good fixture list lineup. So for now, he will stay in my team until at least game week 8, 9. Then in defence, Colwell and Gusto, even though Chelsea are not performing, they're not letting many goals in. So in my opinion, having a cheap Chelsea defence is a good option, as they don't score goals, but they're not goals in, as showed in the last game. And Newcastle, Trippier, great option, because Newcastle have got a great fixture list lineup coming up now. Like Henry's injured for me at the moment, and I'm considering bringing in Botman or maybe a Luton defender to target the double game week. Not made my mind up about that either yet. I'll have to see after the Champions League games and your Europa games, because you never know, there might be some more injuries where I'll be forced to do more other transfers. Because at the moment, Henry will be a forced transfer for me. And at the moment, forced transfers are working out better for me than ones that I just try to outsmart and bring in players. Like Trippier was a forced transfer that I bought in for Trent. I don't think I would have been brought in Trippier otherwise. Sterling was not a forced transfer. That was me just using up a transfer, thinking Sterling would perform in the coming game weeks with the fixture list they had. So it's not always best to do transfers. Sometimes you just wait and see and hold up. So that is a review so far for these 5 game weeks. I think I've shown that I'm able to improve my rank week in, week out, and hopefully I can continue doing that and increase my overall rank, because that's the main aim of FPL. It's help me get to my 3rd in my mini league, which I'm very happy about, and hope may that continue. Now let's move on to the transfer watch list. So first up, for a great transfer, Trippier. His next game is Sheffield United away. Predicted points or 4.5. I bought him in last week, which I loved. He got returns of 8 points, and Newcastle have got a great fixture list lined up for now on out for a while. So in my opinion, he's a great transfer to bring in, because he always gets bonus points as he takes set pieces and plays a lot of forward passes. So in my opinion, he's a great transfer to bring in. Next up, we have Areola. His next game up is against Liverpool. His price is at 4.1 and his British points is 3.1. In my opinion, I had him on my lucrative transfer list a few weeks ago because I expected more people to bring him in. They've not got the best of fixtures, but I do expect people to keep bringing him in because he's one of the cheapest starting goalkeepers in FPL. So people will slowly bring him in. So in the long run, he will be lucrative as a second backup keeper to have, just so you can make some sort of profit down the line. So in my opinion, if you've got no transfers, like major transfers to do, and just want to change up something on your bench, then he's a great option to do. Next up, we have a gamble in Ferguson for Brighton. Their next game up is easy, Bournemouth at home. Reason being he's a gamble is because we don't know about his minutes. With Brighton got Europa on Thursday and then playing on Sunday in the Premier League, there'll be a lot of rotation in the Brighton team as they did in the last game against United. So no one is a guaranteed star for Brighton. So in my opinion, that's the reason why he's a gamble. His cost is 6 million. His predicted points for the next game against Bournemouth is 4 points. Good predicted points, but in my opinion, is a gamble on basis of minutes. Next up, we have James Ward-Prowse. In my opinion, he's still on a void. He was on a void for me last week as well. Reason being, I just don't expect him to carry on the numbers that he's been putting through. Last 4 game weeks, he's put up with returns, in a goal or an assist in all those game weeks. Next game up is against Liverpool away, which is not an easy fixture to have. Even that, his predicted points is 4 in that as well. But in my opinion, West Ham do not have the best fixture list lineup, and I don't expect him to carry on returning the points he has. And they got Europa football as well on Thursdays, so expect them to be tired and not fully fresh for the Sunday kickoffs as well. So in my opinion, you should avoid James Ward-Prowse. Then we have a great transfer in Julian Alvarez. I bought him in last week. Not last week, the week before his price went up to 6.8 now at the moment. He is a great transfer to bring in because Man City have Holland as a striker, and he's been playing as a second striker / De Bruyne role since De Bruyne has been injured. In my opinion, he's more or less guaranteed minutes at the moment from what it looks like. We're not 100% sure because of Champions League starting this week, but I expect him to be carrying on playing as a first team player for Man City in the games coming up. Their next game is Forest at home. It's a very easy game for them. Their predicted points in that game is 5.4. So in my opinion, Julian Alvarez is a great transfer to bring in still, even though his price has gone up. And next, a lucrative transfer that we have is Gusto. I had it from the very start. I expect his price to keep going up as we got news as Reece James won't be back for a while still. So people might still start bringing in Gusto in as a very cheap defender to have in a starting semi-decent team, where they're getting clean sheets but not goals. So it's good to have him as a lucrative transfer in your team. Next up, we have Doku as a gamble. Then next game up is against Forest at home. His predicted points by AI is at 2.1 because just like me, we just don't know about his minutes because he's at the moment playing in Grealish position on the left-hand side. So or what happens in the Champions League games as well. With Pep Roulette, you just don't know about him if he's going to be starting game in, game out. He looked very good in the last 2 games, got returned in the last game for Man City and the bonus points. So in my opinion, he's a gamble transfer to bring in. So be wary with that. He's cheap at 6.5 million though. Next up, we have Mitoma. They've got a game against Bournemouth. His price is still at 6.5 million. Reason why he's a void, even though he's got an easy fixture next game, is the games after that are not the best either. And with rotation with Brighton at the moment, with Fatty coming into the team at Brighton, there could be a lot of rotation involved. So in my opinion, that is why he's an avoid. His predicted points by AI is still high at 5.4. But in my opinion, should avoid him because of the rotation factor. Next up, we have Mbimu. His price has gone up all the way up to 6.9 now. People have still been bringing him in as he has made good returns. He didn't get returned in the last game against Newcastle, a complete blank. The next game up is against Everton at home. I hope so he gets points in that game. I'm a bit worried with Henry getting injured as a bit of the creative spark will go away from Brentford. But hopefully that's not true and Brentford carry on getting wins for my sake because I support Brentford as well as Liverpool. So hopefully he carries on producing the points he has against the weaker teams coming up that he's got. So in my opinion, he's a great transfer. Next up, we have a new entry in the lucrative list. Botman. His price is only at 4.5 million. The next game is Sheffield United away. His predicted points in that game is 4.1. I expect him to get a lot of points in the next coming game weeks because they got a very easy fixture lineup. Those lineups are where he's going to get clean sheet points, not goals or assists. So that's why he's only at 4.5 million. But in my opinion, he's a very lucrative transfer because I see a lot of people bringing him in this week and the week after because in the last game week, he got 9 points and people will see that as a plus and start bringing him in and his price will go up. So in my opinion, a great lucrative transfer. Next up, we have a gamble in Trossard. He came on in the last game for Arsenal when Martinelli got injured early on after he scored a goal that got disallowed and then got injured. He came on and scored the winning goal for Arsenal. We just don't know the situation of Martinelli at the moment of if he's going to be able to return back for the Premier League game. So for that reason is why I'm saying he might be a gamble because we don't know the full extent of Martinelli's injury and that he will be back on as a starter. His predicted points for that game is only a 1.8 by AI because AI does not expect him to get many minutes. Next up, we have Robertson. He's got a game against West Ham at home. His price is at 6.5. His predicted points is 4.6. Reason being for me he's on a void because Liverpool don't keep many clean sheets and he won't produce attacking returns like he lost last game week. His goal before that was nearly over a year ago before that against the same team, Wolves. So that just might be that. So in my opinion, you should avoid getting Robertson in because I don't expect Liverpool to keep clean sheets, even though they've got easy fixtures list like after a couple of game weeks. But for the next couple of game weeks, no, I will not bring in Robertson as I don't expect Liverpool to keep clean sheets. Now for one of my avoids, now is Son again. He was a gamble last weekend because I just didn't expect him to be playing up front again. He did play up front again, but he did not return with any returns at all. So for that reason, I'm happy that I didn't bring him in. A lot of people did bring him in because I think he was one of the main transfer players in last weekend. This weekend, they've got 2 hard games coming up against Arsenal and Liverpool. So in my opinion, you should avoid him at all costs because I don't expect him to get returns in those 2 games. And next up, in a gamble transfer, we have Højlund for United. He did have a good game against Arsenal last game week. He came off on the 70th minute because he's not fully match fit yet. He's just come back. Reason why he's a gamble, because United haven't been at the best. There's a lot of turmoil off the pitch and on the pitch for United. So for that reason why, he's a gamble. And we don't have a big sample size on his performances. Only 1. So for that reason, he's a gamble. And the next game up is against Burnley away. And it's a decent game, but Burnley do need the points. AI has predicted only 3 points for him. So in my opinion, stay away from Højlund unless you're a gambling man or a United fan. Next up, we have a lucrative transfer in Eduardo for Crystal Palace. He's produced good returns in the last 2 game weeks. Reason why I say lucrative, because I see a lot of people bringing him in this week as a 3rd or 2nd striker. Because he's fairly cheap at 5.5 million. So people might start bringing him in as he's a good minutes person as well at the moment. He's getting starting games, so he could be getting more returns. And if he gets returns in the next game week against Fulham at home, 3 game weeks in a row, I see a lot of people transferring him in, and his price will go up as he has low ownership. And a lot of people bring him in, his price will go up faster. So in my opinion, he's a very lucrative transfer to have. And next up, I can't wait to talk about this guy since the start of FPL. He has not been in any of my wildcards that I've made or in my transfer watch list. It is Mohamed Salah. His price is at 12.5 million. He has been producing consistent returns in all 5 game weeks. Last game week, he got his first double-digit haul. And I've started to see some people starting to bring them into their teams now. Reason why I say he's a great transfer, because he's still on penalties, and right now he's looking like more of a creator than a goal scorer. And in that department, I'll be more than happy for him to get 2-3 assists a game than just 1 goal a game. And not even that, he'll still be on pens. So if Liverpool win pens, he'll be taking the pens and getting the bonus points. And Liverpool do have a lot of easy fixtures lined up after the next 3 game weeks. So in my opinion, he's a great transfer to bring in before the price rise, or even during the hard games that they have, because he is one of the main strikers for Liverpool that is a guaranteed starter. Now looking at this transfer watch list, I recommend to stay away from the gamble list completely, because they are real gambles in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't be bringing any of those players in myself. So I wouldn't recommend any of you guys to bring them in. The only players I will recommend to bring in are the 4 great transfers that we have there. I have 3 of them already, and Salah is the 4th one, which I am considering to bring in. At the moment, I have to transfer out Henry, so that's my main priority. Do I want to take another -4 hit to my team this coming game week is the question. You can take, if you do not have a transfer that you need to make and just need to make a transfer on your bench, the lucrative option transfers are good options to take to make some profit for the future. So that's it for this transfer watch list. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. If there's anything that you disagree with me on my opinions, or you think a player that I've missed out that I should have there on the watch list, please leave a comment on the video. I might mispronounce some player names, but I hope you understood what I meant. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. Thank you again for watching me. See you next time. See ya!